Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so glad you're with us today. What we're talking about now are these foods good for you? I don't know how else to phrase that because people come to me every day, 7 days a week, either in person or online, because our website, drjoe.com, you can send questions through the website, and we get a ton of questions. And Joe, my producer here today, intercepts a lot of them for me, and I do appreciate that. And Garrett, who is actually got a day off today, he intercepts a lot of them for me as well. And so some of them do filter through to me. But people say, well, Dr. Joe, I know I'm eating right. I'm eating really well. And I don't understand why I can't lose weight, why I have brain fog, why I have gas and bloating and diarrhea and acid, and my breath stinks. And why do I have these problems? Because I'm eating so well. So I say to them, Joe, go to my website, drjoe.com, and under patient forms, under services, you'll see patient forms, and click on that, and you'll see one that says Diet Diary. And you can do this right now. It's free. Go to Diet Diary and start writing down everything you eat. Everything. I don't care if it's a hamburger or a piece of gum. I want everything written down. You then can play Dr. Joe, and you will look at these things and you'll say, gosh, every time I do blank, I get blank. It sounds like Match Game, right? If you're old enough to know that. Every time I drink coffee, I get a headache. Every time I eat weed, I get diarrhea. Every time I drink alcohol, I get a hangover. And you'll say, oh my gosh, there's my answer. It's so easy and so obvious. But if you want to do it, it's free. I'd never know you printed it up. We do not keep tabs on anybody who goes to our website and prints things up. So drjoe.com, print up the form, start writing it down, and you'll be amazed. So what I do is I have people write that down for me, and I'll say, bring it in to me, and let's sit down and look at it. And then what I did is when I put this show together, I put down what a lot of people think are healthy. Remember the commercial? You think it's butter, but it's not. It's chiffon. Chiffon's still around? I don't even know. That's how old I am. That was a commercial anyway. If you think it's butter, but it's not, it's chiffon. And it's a margarine. But if you think it's healthy, but it's not, it's going to be a surprise to you. So I digress. Let's start out with the biggie, eggs. I had this discussion yesterday with a 17-year-old. And we've talked about eggs and how eggs, they're taught in school that eggs are good for you and that you should eat eggs. And eggs are fine, and as long as you eat them in moderation, you don't have to worry about cholesterol. Well, I take exception to that. We are not designed to eat eggs. We can eat them. We can survive on them. We won't thrive on them, but we can survive on them. But they are loaded with protein. But, if you think about what they are, first of all, it's pretty disgusting. But I won't go into that right now. They are high in cholesterol. But here's the thing with eggs. The cholesterol in the eggs is not a big deal. Now, if you eat a lot of it, it is. The problem is when you heat the cholesterol. So if you eat a soft-boiled egg, it's not nearly as bad for you as if you eat a hard-boiled egg or a fried egg or a scrambled egg. Because when the cholesterol is heated, it changes the molecular structure and makes that cholesterol much more toxic to the human body. So there is little evidence that it's bad for your heart. It can increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. But the problem is that many times the chickens are fed toxic chemicals. They're fed steroids, hormones, chemicals, antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified food, genetically modified corn and soy. Chickens are not designed to eat corn and soy. Chickens are designed to eat bugs and grass seeds. So when you give them corn and soy, which are high in omega-6 fatty acids, it increases the omega-6 level of the eggs, and that makes it more toxic. So once again, I've said this many times, if you're going to eat animal products, including eggs, I recommend organic only. Now, you probably should cook them. The more you cook them, the lower the risk of salmonella. However, the more changing of the cholesterol, the altering of the fat molecule occurs. So my suggestion is don't eat them. It's much easier. Now, if you're going to eat them, I do recommend that you do organic. So I haven't had an egg in a long time, decades. I used to like eggs. But you know what? 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have to worry about all the steroids and hormones and chemicals and pesticides and genetically modified food, and chickens were raised outside. Now they're raised in pens, and they're forced to lay eggs until they're about to die, and then they become broilers, they're called. When they're done laying eggs, they become a broiler chicken, and they're slaughtered and served as meat. So happy chickens make happy eggs. Happy humans make happy babies. So these chickens are not happy. They're born and raised just to make babies, just to lay eggs. And so there's many reasons why I'm not a big fan of eggs. The nice part is there's substitutes out there. In fact, there's one that just came out. It's called Just Egg, and it's a liquid. And I tried it, and for what I can remember, it tastes just like eggs. Now, it does have a lot of fat in it, so you can gain weight if you eat too much of it. But just be careful with it. But if you have to have eggs, there are substitutes now. You don't have to worry about that. So that's easy. The big one, people say, Dr. Joe, I can give up all the 7 deadly sins except, say it with me, coffee. Dr. Joe, I cannot give up coffee. So many people need to jumpstart their day with coffee. In fact, I read a study years ago. I don't know if it's still true. The number 1 import into the United States is oil. Number 2 is coffee. Isn't that crazy? And it raises your risk. It raises your risk of heart disease and cancer. Now, there can be some benefits to coffee. It can help your brain work more because it's a stimulant. It can reduce your risk of gallstones. That's a thought. It might help your brain reduce the risk of Parkinson's, maybe. However, there's nothing in coffee that you can't get other places without the negative side effects. Now, coffee is a very strong acid. When you put acid in your body has to neutralize the acid. The body uses calcium as its primary neutralizing agent. So your body will give up calcium from your bones, your blood, your muscles to neutralize the acid in all the 7 deadly sins, including coffee. And now the body is losing calcium. So many times if you have thin bones, it's not that you have too little calcium, it's that you have too much acid. And what are the acid foods again? Say them with me. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener. So if you're doing a lot of acid foods, your risk of losing calcium skyrockets. And the acid foods are bad for you. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing acid foods like oranges, let's say, doesn't have that effect. Now, orange juice I'm going to come to later, not a good choice. Orange is fine. Orange juice, not. Too high concentrated sugar. But I digress. If you want to learn all about coffee, go to our website, drjoe.com, type in the word coffee in the search bar, and listen to the show we did on coffee. We did a whole, 2 hours on coffee. And so it really gives you a good breakdown. It's actually about an hour and 35 minutes of content. So listen to that one on coffee. I think you'll do very well. If you're going to do coffee, I recommend organic only. Because coffee is one of the most highly sprayed foods there are with chemicals. So we can reduce our chemical intake by doing organic coffee. Organic decaf is the best choice. So if you have to pick one, organic decaf if you have to drink coffee. Maybe you can mix it with a little half decaf, half regular until you get off the coffee. If you want to kick the habit, and you should, in my book, Eating Right for the Health of It, I have a chapter called Kicking the Habit. And the way we do that is you take a cup of coffee, organic coffee, put it in front of you, and take 1 tablespoon every hour. And 1 tablespoon an hour will give you just enough caffeine to get you through to the next hour so you don't get the headaches and withdrawal. What will happen is the longest it's ever taken me to get somebody off coffee was 4 days. And this guy drank about 60 cups of coffee a day. I'm not kidding. 40 to 60 cups a day. All he did was drink coffee all day. Drink. He was so anxious. He was so strung out. God, I can't remember his name now. Picture him, a shorter fella. It's a weird name. Anyway, lost his business, got a divorce. I mean, he was just so strung out. He was like crazy. He was so addicted to the coffee. And as a chiropractor, we're trying to adjust him, and it was like hitting a brick wall. His muscles were so tight. He was so spasmed out. So we did get him off coffee. He finally said, I'm losing everything, Doc. I got to do something. 1 tablespoon every hour, 4 days, he was off his coffee. So, is it Yogi? Maybe it was Yogi. Anyway, can't remember. But it was years ago. But you can give it up, and I think you should. And also, it's a lot cheaper to give it up. And if you want energy, because people say to me, Dr. Joe, where do you get your energy from? I don't drink coffee. I used to work at a place that used to make donuts. I was a baker. I used to make the donuts. That'll give you a hint of where I used to work. And I was very young. I was 14 or 15 years old, and I made the donuts. And I had access to all the coffee I wanted in the world. I never really drank it. I never liked it. So if you want energy, A, stop putting the bad food in your body. Stop putting the 7 deadly sins in: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Eat more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. Supplement-wise, this is my protocol. I'm going to let you in on my little secret here. I'm going to get you behind the curtain. Super Green's an essential source. Can't imagine starting a day without Super Green's an essential source. They're 2 powders. I like the mint-flavored Super Greens. I think it tastes better, if you want my opinion. And being I created them, I'll give you my opinion. I take a scoop of each. I shake it up with some coconut milk or almond milk. I'll even put my 5 drops of vitamin D in there as well, which I take every day too, unless I'm out in the sun. and I shake that up and drink it. In the summer, I like to take maybe half a frozen banana and put it in a little blender thing, whip it up, and make a little smoothie out of it. Nice, refreshing way to start the day. You could throw frozen berries in there too, or fresh. So Super Green's an essential source. Nitric oxide. This is the magic bullet. As you get older, your nitric oxide levels drop. And so nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It opens up your blood vessels. And so it works wonders to give you energy. So what I tell people is start with taking 1 a day. See how you do. If you do well, take 2 the next day in the morning. And when I say well, you're not too shaky, you're not too anxious. Then take 3 the next day, 4 the next day. I only take 4 if I have a really busy day. If I'm really, really supercharged and got a lot going on, I'll take 4. But usually I can get away with taking 2 or 3. Now, another tip. You get tired in the afternoon. Take 2 in the morning. Take another 1 or 2 in the afternoon around lunchtime, and that'll get you through the day. It's amazing. Also helps with circulation to the brain, helps your brain work better, helps with circulation to the private parts. I'll keep it clean here because it's a family show. But as we get older, for men and women, our circulation drops, and it's one of the reasons why we lose our libido and our function. So it'll help get circulation to where it's supposed to go, and if you take it in the afternoon especially, it kind of holds you over till the nighttime. So just a little inside tip there. So I take Super Green Essential Source, nitric oxide, B-complex. Most of us need B-complex. It helps the nervous system. If you take too much of it, you pee it out, so it's really not that big a deal. Relatively inexpensive. And then adrenal support. But Super Green's Essential Source, nitric oxide, B-complex, and if you want to do it right, add the adrenal support. Chances are you won't need the coffee anymore. So what we're talking about today is, are these foods good for you or not? Now, there is a little benefit to coffee. Like I said, it can maybe curb your appetite. It might help your brain work a little better. Way more benefits without any of the negative side effects by doing what I just said. So if you don't know what I just said, by the way, if you're just tuning in, all our shows are podcasts. So if you can go to your podcast services, whatever service you use, just type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And this show should be there, as well as hundreds of hours of other shows. And you could pick whatever topic you want. And you can get Dr. Joe 24 hours a day. On our website, drjoe.com, we have over 1,500 hours of audio and video. In case you're a visual learner, we have that there. Our YouTube channel, at Dr. Joe Esposito. Tons and tons of videos there. You probably wouldn't have time to watch them in a lifetime. So, again, I don't know how to make this any easier for you. I tell you what to do. We have it available on audio, on video, on podcast, on the website, drjoe.com, on YouTube. If you have a question, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. And either me, Joe, or Gary is going to answer it for you. So we want to be your doctors. We want to help get you well and keep you well. Now, we can't treat everything, just so you know. I don't want you to get mad at me and say, well, Dr. Joe, I have this condition, and it's like that's not something in our wheelhouse. But we have a list of doctors that we work with, and in most cases, we can refer you to somebody who can do what you want to do. And coming soon, by the way, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks or months, we're actually going to have a referral network on the website. So when you're looking up something, you could just go to the referral network and say, okay, I need a lawyer, I need a chiropractor, I need a good restaurant I can go to. We're going to have a whole list of places that I go to or doctors that I use so that you can have my own personal list. How's that for making it easy for you? So again, we can't treat everything, but we can treat a lot of things. So other things, are they good for you? How about chocolate? I'm not going to talk too bad about chocolate. Now, I can't eat chocolate. It gives me a headache. Dark chocolate is better than milk chocolate, of course. So milk chocolate should never even be on your list. Evidence it can help with heart, diabetes, brain function. The higher the cacao level, like 70% or higher, is where you want to be. If you're going to eat chocolate, it's got to be a small amount of organic dark chocolate. Now, when I say a small amount, about the size of the top joint of your thumb. So a very small amount. You don't need a lot. And it'll give you, it has caffeine in it, of course. There's bromine, theobromine, isotheobromines, and phyllenes, which can also be toxic. And it's the theobromine that's toxic to dogs, by the way. That's why I never give it to dogs. They can't process, I think it's theobromine. Yeah. They can't process it in their kidneys, and that's why it can kill them. So don't give it to dogs. Side note. Chocolate also has a chemical called phenylethylamines. Now, I've read studies pro and con, pro and negative and neutral on phenylethylamine. PEA, phenylethylamine, is a chemical that's released in your brain when you're in love. And so when you eat chocolate, some studies show it releases more PEA in your brain, phenylethylamine, and you feel very euphoric and happy. Other studies say they can't find a correlation. I'm okay with you having a little bit of chocolate. How about that? Just got to be a small amount. And it's got to be dark, organic, 70% or more, and you should be in good shape. Another one I get, I laugh at this one. Dr. Joe, I heard that red wine is good for my heart. Well, I've heard that too. Couple of caveats in the red wine world. It's got to be red, can't be white. Well, it can be white, but red is more antioxidants. The darker the color of the fruit or vegetable, usually the healthier it is. So, if you're going to do wine, it should be red. Also, red wine has something in it called resveratrol. Now, resveratrol is one of the few supplements that have been shown that can actually help reverse, or certainly slow down, the aging process. Now, on your genes, not your blue genes, but in the genes in your body, you have a little tail. It's called a telomere. And a telomere is very active, and it looks like a flagella, it's called, and it kind of wiggles around like the tail of a tadpole. And when you're young, they're very long and they're very active. And as we get older, the telomeres start to shrink and become slower. That's the aging process. So resveratrol has been shown to help reactivate, revitalize the telomeres in the cells and slightly reverse, technically speaking, the aging process. Well, here's the thing. It's got to be red wine. If it's not organic wine, the resveratrol levels are extremely low. Why? Because if it's not organic, chances are they sprayed the grape with an antifungal agent. The reason the grapes produce resveratrol is because there's a fungus that attacks the grape, and so what the grape does then, it produces resveratrol to fight the fungus. If you spray a fungicide on it, it's not exposed to the fungus, it doesn't produce resveratrol. So it's got to be organic, it's got to be red wine, and studies have shown you need to drink anywhere between 2 bottles and a case of wine a day to get medicinal benefits. So I'm not buying this whole red wine is good for your heart stuff, because a good diet is good for your heart. Not eating bad foods is good for your heart. Reducing stress is good for your heart. A glass of wine ain't going to change nothing. That's just how it is. Now, red wine may calm you down a little bit. There may be a benefit there, but so does taking 10 deep breaths. So does taking good supplements. So does getting good sleep. So does having good friends. Getting to the cause of the problem is what I want you to do, and not just treat the symptoms. That's always my goal when it comes to neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, acid reflux, heartburn, digestive issues, nutritional malfunction. Whatever it is, my team of doctors are handpicked by me. They're trained by me, and they're my personal doctors. In fact, I got adjusted right before I came on the air today. So we want to get to the cause of your health problem. So if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, the best advice I can give you is come see us. Because chiropractic is the most effective, least expensive treatment for pain. Now, I'm also board certified in orthopedics. I'm also board certified in pain management. I'm double board certified in nutrition. I have a BS in nutrition. I'm certified in traumatic brain injuries. We have a medical staff. We have a medical doctor and nurse. So if you have a medical issue that's outside the natural holistic realm, we have it right in-house. One of the more popular things that we've done lately is we've added something called PRP. PRP is platelet-rich plasma. We take your blood, we spin it down, we take out the platelets. Then we can re-inject those platelets back into your body. Platelets are growth factors. They stimulate new growth. They're anti-inflammatory. They can help with pain. The thing I like about PRP is it's your own cells. We're not taking medicine from somebody else or a drug from somewhere else and putting it into your body. It's your own cells. So your body, I don't know of any case it's ever rejected it. In all the research I've ever read on PRP, which has been around for a long, long time. Sometimes we might need exosomes. Exosomes are the active parts of stem cells. And so we may resort to stem cells if we have to. So sometimes we do a mixture of it. So we can do pain injections. We can do facet blocks. We can do medial nerve branch blocks. So we can do medicine. We can do chiropractic. We can do nutrition. We can work on digestive issues. We can work on muscle issues. So we do a lot of things in our offices. So if you want to make an appointment, just go to our website, drjoe.com, and you can book it right online. Initial visit is normally $375. We've reduced that to $249. That's exam, x-rays, consultation, first adjustment, next visit, going over your x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Here's the thing. Don't come in unless you're serious about wanting to get well. Don't come in and kick tires and say, I'm just kind of curious. I want to see what you have to say. If you're serious about wanting to get well, we're more than happy to take you on as a patient. If you're not ready to make a commitment to get well, please don't make an appointment. I'd much rather you get in here and save those appointments for other people, because we book up quickly. My doctors are very, very busy, and we don't want to use up a spot that could be used for somebody who's serious. So we accept insurances, we accept car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp. If you're ever in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. In my experience, 100% of the time. So go to the website, drjoe.com. You can book it right online, or you can call us. The number's right there on the website, and we'll get that set up for you as quickly as possible. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. People ask me a lot about meat. I don't eat meat. I don't think you should either. It's loaded with saturated fats. Many times it's loaded with chemicals. We know that it can increase your risk of stroke, heart disease, certain cancers. Processed meat is way worse than regular meat, like cold cuts. So if you want to learn about meat, go to our website, drjoe.com. Just type meat in the search bar, and you can listen to the show we did on meat. I'm not a fan of it. I don't find any health benefits to it whatsoever, because you can get everything and more from other products. If you stop eating meat and go plant-based, the one supplement you definitely want to make sure you're getting is vitamin B12, because you can get B12 from meat because bacteria are eating the rotten flesh and they produce B12. So just to be safe, I always tell my vegans, well, everybody should be taking Super Greens, an essential source anyway, and we have B12 in there as well. I take an extra B complex because I have a very busy life. I want to make sure my nervous system is taken care of. So that's the only issue you have to worry about. People say, well, Dr. Joe, what's a good bread? And we're talking today about, is this food really healthy for you? I strongly advise you stay away from wheat, barley, and rye because they have a protein in it called gluten. And gluten is made up of gliadin and glutenin, and it can irritate the bowels. It can cause an inflammatory reaction. You can take some digestive enzymes that might help break down the gluten. Folks, just avoid gluten. It's not hard. There's gluten-free everything now. Cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, pizza crusts. They're not good for you. They just don't have the gluten in it, which makes them a little less bad, if that's the right word. So I do recommend you try giving up wheat. Here's my challenge to you, and I give this challenge out a lot. What I want you to do is I want you to give up all your wheat and all your dairy products for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. That's all I'm asking, 2 weeks. Notice how you feel. At the end of 2 weeks, go back to your evil ways. Go back to your wheat and your dairy products. Have a couple of slices of pizza, which is wheat and dairy. See how you feel. If you don't feel any better giving up the wheat and the dairy, go back to eating wheat and dairy. If you do feel better, be ready to give it up, just so you know. So it's worth it. Believe me, it is. Salads are great. Just be careful that you don't put a lot of creamy dressings on them and bacon bits and things like that. I have a salad at least once a day. I had some today. I have it for breakfast sometimes, so it's okay to have salad for breakfast. But the key here is you want to eat something raw at every meal. Now, when I say raw food has enzymes in it. So broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, salad. Have something raw at every meal. I have Super Greens, an essential source, every breakfast, so there's my raw food right there. I usually eat fruit too. I have a salad usually 1 meal a day, and I want you to have digestive enzymes if you're eating a lot of cooked foods. So if you're going to have a steak, or if you're going to have soups that are cooked, or beans, or Mexican food, not a lot of raw food, I do recommend you have a digestive enzyme every meal. Those are on the website as well, drjoe.com. Now, all the supplements we talked about, Super Green Essential Source, vitamin D, digestive enzymes, B complex, all of those are on the website, drjoe.com. You can search them. Good explanations on the website. You can order them. We'll ship them to you usually the next day, or come pick them up. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Just come pick them up. Save the shipping cost. And the reason I say that is, A, I'd like to save the shipping cost, but B, I'd like to meet you. Now, not at every office, of course, all the time, but my staff and I would love to say hi to you. And if you do want to make an appointment, which, by the way, you should, do it right online, drjoe.com. We accept insurances. We accept car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp, Medicare. We even take Medicare. We would love the opportunity to be your doctors. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you or your family, your children, your loved ones have a health issue, come see us. If it's something we can help, we'll say we think, we never promise, we might be able to help you. If it's something we can't help, we're going to tell you right up front, this isn't something we can help. Let's refer you to somebody who can. So if you have any questions, folks, the website, drjoe.com. Follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends about the show.